I was holding my phone, but I was
So on Tuesday, May 8th, I received a phone call from the high school principal, Dave Hyatt. I'm in my office. I just stopped in because I just finished up a meeting and instantly grabbed my radio, said I'll be right over. On my drive over, everything as an administrator that goes through your mind in that moment. A school fire, school fires is something we practice for all the time, so you know that our students know what to do. But it's not something that you talk about often. A school fire, we talk about these other disasters that can happen. So as I'm driving over, I'm calling up our Chief Operations Officer, Todd Petrie, and asking him to begin to get transportation poised and ready in case we need to transport students, because we have to think 3,700 students. I wasn't sure where we were going to be moving, if we were going to be dismissing schools, so you're going through all of your safety procedures and thinking through everything we practice for. When I arrived on the scene, we had already been, we were at that moment moving students over to the stadium, the football stadium. Students were behaving amazingly, reacting to the situation exactly the way that we would want them to react. We could not have asked for a better response from our students and our staff. If I would thank someone, I would definitely thank the staff for being calm, for our students for responding in an appropriate and well-behaved way. And then as I was watching the scene, I was noticing that students were actually going above and beyond by helping students in need to move to safety. I know there were students carrying students that could not walk. The response was amazing. So once we arrived and we set up a command center, we were able to communicate with all the appropriate parties. We had police, fire, they were ready to go. We had safety teams on site for our students at the stadium in case anyone needed that. Counselors were ready to begin talking with students. And then we had our fire safety team here on site going through to make sure the building was safe or not safe. And that's when we determined to close the building. At that moment, we had to move our transportation department quickly into action to move into the bus circle, which, if you remember, had fire trucks and all kinds of safety apparatuses there. So as soon as we could move those out, we moved our folks into place. At the same time that all this is going on, Tracy Carson, our public information officer, is busy over at, we have a safe place for her to be off campus so that she can continue to communicate and connect with parents and answer questions, send tweets out, send Facebook updates out so that our parents know real time what's happening and that their students are safe. And the rest of the head principals and the rest of the district in a situation like this come right onto the scene, and so that we have people at all points of contact. Everyone's on the radio communicating the plan, and we just could not have asked for a better response. We were very fortunate and blessed with the timing, with the student response, with the beautiful weather. The only thing that I think some kids were bummed about is they didn't get to finish up their AP testing.
We're just sitting in class. I was sitting at my computer. I was just doing regular work, and all of a sudden, Trevor comes running in yelling, "Mr. Elias, there's a lot of smoke." And Mr. Elias is like, "Oh yeah, there is a lot of smoke." Mr. Elias was super calm about it, and it was just crazy because the room filled up with a crap ton of smoke. Well, I didn't think it was that bad at first, so like I took the time to log off my computer and wrap my earbuds up, and then I just grabbed my backpack because I thought it was, if there's any room that's going to be gone, it's the one I'm in. So then we walked around through Mr. Wiseman's room because it's safer. Alright, well, the smoke, it really wasn't that bad because it was at the ceiling, and the ceilings in the room are pretty high. So, but when you did have to walk through it, it like burned my eyes, and it was hard to breathe. So.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Miller. I'm a child nutrition worker here at Mason High School. And my first reaction, I was cashiering when the alarm went off, and my first reaction was I thought somebody had pulled the alarm because it's happened before. And then when I realized it wasn't, I just made sure that all the kids got out, and made sure they knew where to go. and made sure my coworkers knew where to go, and just got out as fast as I could.
So we were about to start testing, and the alarm came off, and it said, attention, there's an emergency in the building, please exit immediately. And everybody kind of looked around at each other, and the counselors could tell that nobody really knew what was happening. So everybody just got up and kind of started first walking and then running out. It was very chaotic. People were pushing chairs and tables over trying to get out, and people were sprinting across the room just trying to get out. We ended up running into Pine Hill, so there was just a herd of us all running out there. Yeah, I was just thinking if something were like this to happen and we didn't have our phone or our keys, we'd be stuck there without any way to leave or contact anybody to let them know that we're okay.
I didn't know why it was going off. I thought it was a drill or something, so I was just sitting there because I didn't want to leave my test. But then they were like, all right, you guys need to leave, and I was like, I just spent 4 hours taking this test. I don't want to start over in like 3 weeks. So I was like, can I put this in the computer and finish it up? They're like, nope, you got to go. So then I went outside and I was like, all right, hopefully my test doesn't burn up.
Right now we are currently in the fetal pig dissection, so we started that on Monday, and we had just got done talking on the board about what was expected, and they had gotten their pigs out and their gloves out, and they had all their materials, and they were literally getting ready to open up the digestive system of the pig, so opening the pigs. And one of my students came in from the bathroom, said that there was smoke, they smelled fire. So then as soon as I walked out into the hallway, basically the fire alarms went off. So when I smelled the smoke, I knew that it wasn't a drill. And that's when I walked in, and basically we dropped what we were doing. We left our pigs because, of course, it's an emergency situation. We left our pigs, we left the scalpels. I did tell them to take their gloves off so they didn't have to go out into the bus circle with their gloves on. And then we went right out this door and straight out to the bus circle. Then from there, I just had to kind of leave the pigs to be. I was a little nervous. I could only imagine what the firefighters thought when they were coming into my classroom and they saw all these fetal pigs laying out, but I knew they would be fine. They weren't going anywhere. So I did, though, wait until it was clear enough to come back into the building, because we had scalpels out and I was afraid that our pigs were going to dry out and things. So as soon as the carbon monoxide levels were low enough, I ran in here, I wrapped all of our pigs up, put everything away, grabbed all the tools and cleaned up, and so then safely put them back in the fume hood, and they are good to go.
One of the cool things that I witnessed is a couple of students that were helping other students of need trying to evacuate the building during yesterday's incidents. We were in the stairwell between the C2 pod, and as a result, one of the students, Caleb Bloodworth, just volunteered to help with one of the students that needed to be carried out of the building, and a second student that we were waiting for additional support for. And Tim Molnar and Vance Reed and Charlize all came into the situation, handled it like pros, and got the 2 students out responsibly and safely.
I mean, they recognized that there was an issue. The alarm is different down there. It says emergency, get out of the building. So it's different than here. We did not know there was a fire because, you know, we were a completely different wing, whereas I think a lot of the kids in the main part of the building might have smelled smoke or recognized that it was a fire. But I thought they did a fabulous job. They went over there. They were calm, supportive of one another. I didn't see anything other than just, again, amazing kids, which was throughout. I heard through email today just one amazing story of it after another. You know, kids carrying kids and just taking care of each other, and I think that's what happened.
It was super hectic, but it's also like very calm. It was like a mix because just there were so many kids that we were all like, what is going on? But it's also so slow that it was fine. We started going from the field out in front of the large commons to where the stadium was. And on my way over there, I saw a little girl who didn't have her aide with her, Melissa. And I knew her around, I've never really met or talked to her though. And I just knew that she needed help walking there. So I just grabbed her hand and we walked together. And we talked about classes and her friends and what she did that day and everything. And I just got to know Melissa. And then we went and we sat in the bleachers on the track. And then eventually we found her aide and everything got situated. I mean, like a shout out to there was a freshman boy before I grabbed Melissa's hand who helped her like get up and down the curb. So I don't know who he was, but awesome for him for doing that. So that's it.
I knew it wasn't a drill because empty testing and once. So they have me do is they tell me to go into the pond at the end of the hallway to stairway. And I did that. The doors closed and they had me sit there. But then Mr. Reyes came in and said, "It's not safe here. You need to get out." At this point, C3 for the students were coming down the stairway, and this kid, Taylor, he stops and says, "I help you." So he carries me out the building and to me grabs a chair, so out, and then he sits me in the chair in the bedroom. The police had to put me in the car and then drove me out.
So yesterday there was many acts that stand out in my mind of just students and staff stepping up and doing the right thing, and it's a lot of small acts. It's escorting a student out that is on crutches. It's teachers going out of their way to interact with students to relieve any stress they're feeling. It's students dropping the cap and gown they just received and picking up another student and carrying them out of the building. It's, as you look back, the event, just people stepping up and doing the right thing, following the directions. I don't know if we could have gotten people out of the building that much quicker and safer at the same time, but still remain safety throughout. And the acts of a lot of people, a lot of really small gestures that meant a lot to a lot of people happened during those events for sure yesterday.